standing on Oliver's Mount, and what great views from up here. This is the highest viewpoint in the whole town, on 500 feet above Scarborough. Hundreds of years ago, this hill was known as Weaponess, but by the early 1800s, it got the name it still carries today, Oliver's Mount. Legend says that Oliver Cromwell placed his cannons right here, aiming them onto Scarborough Castle during the Civil War. There's no real proof he even came here, but the name stuck and it's been Oliver's Mount ever since. Look around you, this is what everybody comes to see. Down there is the South Bay, the harbour and the great stone walls of Scarborough Castle. And to my left, the town stretches out, streets and houses climbing the hills. You can see the whole story of Scarborough right from here, from its beginnings as a fort and fishing town to the busy seaside resort it's become. And stretching right out there is the North Sea. And that column is the War Memorial, built in the 1920s. It stands here so that everybody who gave their lives to Scarborough can be remembered, looking out forever over the town they loved. For centuries it was just open grazing land, the best place in town to see everything coming and going, by land or by sea. In 1946, a group of local riders had an idea, and they turned these quiet roads into a racetrack, and history was made. This is England's only public road racing circuit, 2.5 miles right round the edge of Oliver's Mount. It's nicknamed Mini Isle of Man, and for 80 years it's been one of the most famous places in British motorsport. In front of me, the green fields and woods of Yorkshire roll as far as the eye can see. So no matter where you go, you have the views. Okay, let's take a walk around Oliver's Mount. The highest point in Scarborough sits Oliver's on the Mount Caff. And the view from the cafe on the mount. Let's zoom in on that. So, great place for a cup of tea. This spot has served food and drink ever since racing began in 1946, but in the early days it was nothing more than a simple basic refreshment hut, just a small wooden shelter serving tea and sandwiches. In 2015 everything changed. It was taken over by new owners who saw potential here, and they completely refurbished and modernised the building, turning what was a little hut into the bright, welcoming place you see today. They say this is a cafe with the best view in England, and standing right here, looking out over Scarborough, the bay, the castle and the sea, you can't argue with that, can you? Long before there were races, roads, or even a cattle up here, Oliver's Mount was open farmland. For hundreds of years, the high windy ridge was used for grazing sheep and cattle and for growing crops. It was rough pasture and fields, part of the local farming landscape, with just paths and tracks crossing the top. And it stayed like that right up into the 19th and early 20th century, when the land began to be laid out with paths, woods and open spaces, and later prepared for the first races in 1946. When you stand here, remember this busy, famous spot was once quiet fields and grazing land, worked by local farmers for generations.